everybody, welcome to another edition of Toddster's Magical Mystery Review. I'm your host Toddster, and today we're going to take a look at the monthly extra review. And this month we're going to take a look at the Beatles' second movie, Help, the one in colour, green, as John would say. Yeah, this is a pretty awesome movie, and you know, just as awesome as the first movie. But yeah, it came out in 1965 through United Artists and directed by Richard Lester and produced by Walter Shenson, just like the first movie. Yeah, so once they decided to make a second movie, they didn't want to make another fictionalized documentary, just like the last movie, but instead sort of like make a real movie, so to speak. And yeah, as I said, they shot this in color, and yet they film it around the world, and that's how it made. It cost about like $1.2 million to make, but once it came out, it had sort of like mixed reviews, particularly from the Beatles themselves, who thought they were like extras in their own movie. But I should let you know about who else is in the movie as well. So you have Leo McKern, Eleanor Braun, Victor Spinetti, whom we saw from Hard Day's Night, Roy Kinnear, Veruca Salt's dad, Willy Wonka, Patrick Cargill, the famous inspector, and John Bluthal. Yeah, and it's sort of like a James Bond spoof in a way. But anyway, if any of you haven't seen this movie, I'll tell you all about it. So a human sacrifice is to the dread Kaili is interrupted when Ami, played by Eleanor Braun, noticed that the sacrificial ring is missing, and yet it ends up being in the fingers of Ringo, whom they see a little clip of them playing the title song, and yet the whole tribe travels to England, where the boys reside, and yet they go through many unsuccessful attempts, and they stalk them everywhere, from the bathroom to the studio to an Indian restaurant, just to get this ring. And yet once they realize this problem, the boys go to this ring specialist, Julie, as John would say, who recommends a couple scientists who happen to be Victor Spinetti and Roy Kinnear, who happens to be mad scientists, hoping to rule the world. And once they come across this ring, they must have it, So we got two different groups trying to get this ring. Yet secretly, Ame helps protect them, And once she grabs this some shrinking medicine, in order to shrink the finger, to get it loose. But yet it ends up onto Paul accidentally, and we see the many adventures of Paul on the floor. So anyway, they sort of relocated to the Austrian Alps, where we see them sing Ticket to Ride. Yet the whole Kaili tribe and the mad scientists, follow them wherever they are, and all that. But once they got back to England, they meet up this famous inspector from Scotland Yard, played by Patrick Cargill, and yet he hires them an army to help them protect him from a little outdoor recording session just outside Stonehenge. and all sorts of stuff, and and then they relocate to Buckingham Palace and then into the Bahamas, and all that. But yeah, so it's sort of like a road comedy in a way. But yeah, sort of like the Bing Crosby, Bob Hope type movie. But yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you about my favorite clips. I would say the bathroom scene is funny as well. With the or whatchamacallit, with the hand dryers, but instead of blowing, they suck their clothes off, and all that. But and as far as the musical performances, you're gonna lose that girl, and I need you. They sort of are the best representatives, and just as it was in A Hard Day's Night, this movie helped create the whole music video genre, and I've seen a couple of videos inspired by some of the musical sequences in this movie. But yeah, so what do I think? Well, as I said, it's a great movie, and it's way ahead of its time. I mean, you could see like shades of Monty Python in some parts of the movie, but yet a few hidden innuendos. So just look out for them throughout the movie. So overall, it's a pretty awesome movie. And as far as ranking, I would give this 4 Beatles out of 5. So there you have it. The Help movie, the one in color, green, by the Beatles. So, my name is Toddster. You just watched another Magical Mystery review, and I'll see you next time. Until then, toodaloo.